Well, hello, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. Welcome to Books of the Month, and we're so excited to have you with us for another powerful broadcast. And we're delighted to have a very special guest with us, Miss Shirley Bellinger, who's written a powerful book, The Shepherds. Shirley, welcome to Books of the Month. How are you today?
Fine. Nervous.
Good. Fine and nervous? Don't be nervous. Listen, introduce yourself to our audience. Tell them a little bit about who Shirley is, and then we're going to talk about this powerful book that you've written.
Well, first of all, I'm 81. It took me a while to get this published. I live on a farm in Virginia. We raise beef and turkeys and chickens and pigs and you name it, we raise it.
Wow. I know it sounds exciting, but a lot of people don't know that's a lot of work, I'm sure.
Well, my daughter doesn't, and her husband does do most of it now. We're kind of retired.
81 years old, living in Virginia, and now you write this book. Tell us, please, as you shared with our viewing audience, you ask those questions. How do pastors handle the messiness of their congregations and not lose their mind? Come walk with Adrian and Paul and their family as they try to do just that. Talk to us about that, Shirley, and what caused you to want to write a book like this?
Well, because we've lived in a lot of places, and I've had a lot of pastors that had all kinds of issues with the congregation. And so I thought it would be a good idea to let people know what they go through.
Yes.
And they go through a lot.
Mm.
And the only way to keep their sanity is with lots of prayer.
My goodness. You know, having pastored myself, you hit something that many have no idea, because for some reason they think like pastors just beam in on the weekend, that they don't live in the world on a daily basis. But we know that not to be true. Now, you say something here in chapter 1. You talk about Daisy. Daisy's mother dies. Then Daisy Martin meets Michael Defoe. They marry. Mm-hmm. And then their story takes an interesting journey. And what an amazing journey it is, and a journey of joy and sadness. Talk to us a little bit about that chapter 1 experience.
Well, she met Michael and was love at first sight. And they had a wonderful marriage temporarily before he got killed.
Yes.
And it was hard writing that. I didn't want to kill him off, but it seemed important. So,
you know, I'm looking, navigating the journey, the military, some stuff taking place, and then the tragedy of things that just took place in Daisy's life as it involves Michael, and then the devastating thing that takes place with Daisy herself. I thought, wow, so it's captivating when I began to read this book. And so then, as you were writing this book, he killed him off. What was your inspiration for writing the book like this?
Well, Marshall was an alcoholic and he didn't realize it. Maybe he did, but he didn't stop drinking. And so he caused it. He killed Daisy.
Yes.
And it was sad and awful, and it made a lot of people mad, but it was just the way it was.
Wow. You know, as I was reading that, and I'm just being drawn, excellent writing. Let me tell you that. Excellent job of writing and pulling people in. I was pulled into it as I was reviewing the book. And our viewing audience, when they go and get this book, you're going to be pulled into this experience that Miss Shirley has written so eloquently, as she captivates you and pulls you into this experience. Now, you mentioned Marshall. That's chapter 2. Some things that you wrote here that are very powerful. You say a confused, mourning, this is how took the notes, an ungrateful alcoholic insurance agent. I'm looking at how a gentleman and his son came in to get insurance. But in the process, Marshall couldn't write them the insurance policy because it reminded him of his son when he saw this young man.
Right.
Talk to us about that. That's amazing. Very good writing.
Well, he knew him when he was a younger kid, and he and his son were friends. And he just couldn't stand the thought that he was still there and his son was dead.
Yes.
It ate at him. And he just couldn't even do his business.
Yes. You know, I saw that as I'm reading this. I say, wow, he was being held hostage and being tormented because his son was lost. And that torment that he was experiencing, talking about Marshall, caused him to bring pain and torment to his entire family.
True.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, I saw something here. Marshall has an unfortunate encounter with Daisy that cost Daisy her life. But then, Miss Bellinger, you say something here in chapter 3 that I thought was so very powerful. Tom Smith has an emergency. And then in chapter 3, you talk about Daisy's son, Daniel, and then Pastor Manson's struggle. Talk about those three things for us, if you will, and let our viewing audience get some insights into how powerful this book is.
Well, somebody had to go tell Daniel, and that was not an easy thing to tell him his mother was dead.
Wow.
No. He was staying with a neighbor, playing with their puppies, and they went there. They had to break the news to him. And another thing that happened that occurred, the people of the church didn't go to Daniel, and that made Adrian mad. He said he thought they should have been there.
Yes.
Him, but they didn't. And I've never really explained why. I think they were just so upset about Daisy dying that they couldn't do it. Not a good excuse, but the way it was.
Yes, and I know in and throughout the book, Daisy was just the apple of everyone's eye. Everybody loved Daisy.
Right.
And so when this tragic event happened with her, it just devastated the entire town.
Right. 2 towns.
Yeah. Yes, that is correct. Now, the pastor and the pastor's struggle, Pastor Manson, unpack that for us and give us a little insight into the struggle that Pastor Manson is having, because it's shepherds, and you said people don't understand what shepherds deal with. And even when he went home and had to connect with his family, he became a little short with his family. Talk to us about that.
Well, he was feeling guilty because he thought he should have done something.
Yes.
He was also mad at the pastor at Greystone because he thought he should have done something since he was Marshall's pastor. And he felt like they both let everybody down. And Daisy died because of it.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, therein brings up something that can be very sketchy, very tricky, but we deal with confidentiality as pastors. And so I may know something. If I'm Marshall's pastor, I know there are some things that he's dealing with. Other people may know it, but I know it from the perspective that I may have talked with him, and then there's confidentiality in that. How do I handle this thing? And then I know if it's anything like he's going to be suicidal or threaten to take someone's life knowingly, then I have to step forth and notify officials. But being an alcoholic, not knowing that he's going to get behind the wheel of a car and kill someone, it puts you in a difficult spot.
Right. And the people at his church, the deacons, knew that he had a problem, and they chose not to get him out of the deaconship. And that was a mistake. I think that might have woken him up.
Yes. Being a deacon at the church.
No, they just let him go on being the deacon.
Yes, yes. So when our viewing
Not
audience, go ahead, please. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Go ahead.
that was definitely unbiblical, because it said if you were an alcoholic or drinking a lot, you couldn't be a deacon.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So now you're writing this, you're touching the hearts of the pastors, the shepherds, and what they have to deal with. What are some key points in the book that you would say our audience needs to really, reasons why they need to go and purchase this book?
Oh. Well, you need to realize that their life's not a bowl of cherries, that they've got all kinds of crises and that they have to deal with.
Yes.
And it's not an easy life.
Wow. You've done an excellent job of opening the eyes to many that pastors deal with things and it's not an easy journey. And then they have to go home and deal with their own personal lives. Outstanding job. I would encourage our viewers to go and get this book, The Shepherds, written so excellently by Miss Shirley Bellinger. Now, Shirley, we have 90 seconds left. Is there any contact information, website, or anything that you would like to give to our viewing audience? Take about 60 seconds.
Well, I have a website, and it's Shirley Bellinger author at gmail.com. And you can order books there and buy books there and find out what else I'm writing.
Excellent.
So, informational thing.
Yes. And I know the book's available there on Amazon.
Right.
So they can go there and get this book. I would encourage our viewers to really get this book and give thought to what Shirley has so eloquently shared with us. Shepherds, the things that they face, the different lives that impact their life, and how it can be so devastating at times when they need solutions and don't know where to turn to get the solutions. You've done an excellent job of putting this out. And of course, we want you to go to her website and find out more about her. Shirley, very quickly, give your website information again.
Shirley Bellinger author at gmail.com.
We are so glad. And thank you so much for being our guest. You've done an excellent job, and we appreciate the excellency at which you've written this book and that you're sharing it with us. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been our pleasure, and thank you for being with us. I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. This has been Books of the Month. Our special guest has been Miss Shirley Bellinger. Go purchase this book, The Shepherds. She gave you the website, and you can get it there on Amazon.com. We look forward to seeing you again right here on Books of the Month.